Am I the a-hole for saying my husband is a good father? When he was in his early 20s, my husband got a girl pregnant. They were casual dating in college, they had a lot of mutual friends. He didn't want to be a dad and told her as much, but she was adamant about keeping the baby. He was supportive through the pregnancy but was clear he didn't want to be involved. He wanted to renounce his rights, but ended up with an agreement where he still pays child support but doesn't do visitation nor has involvement in any parental decisions. The girl is now 12. He hasn't met her nor plans to ever do so. I met him 8 years ago, we've been married for almost 7 years. He told me about the whole having a bio child out there very early on. I was fine with it. It is sad that a child came into the world under those circumstances, but I don't think he was wrong for choosing not to be involved. We now have a 5-year-old son. My husband has always been wonderful to me, that's why I fell in love with him. He was great during the pregnancy and birth and has been doting on our son and me ever since. I think he's a wonderful dad and husband. The problem: 2 of his friends married their college girlfriends, who were friends with his bio daughter's mother. On 3 occasions in conversations where I said my husband is a wonderful father, one of them said something snarky and mean like, yeah, to only one of his children. Over the weekend we attended one of their kids' birthday parties. I was chatting to another mum about motherhood and said that it's easier when you have a good team player in your spouse. The homeowner mum chimed in to say loudly, if only the mother of his other child had the same. Later I confronted her in the kitchen. Said I was very tired of her and other friend comments about my husband, that she didn't need to invite us to things or spend time with us if she didn't want to, but it was super disrespectful to be constantly insulting him as a father. She told me she initially liked me but finds it distasteful and rude that I keep praising my husband as a good father when I'm well aware that he isn't, that she will always make sure to correct me, because it's not okay that he got away with what he did and he now gets to play happy family with me and our son. The conversation went south from then on and of course we left. The other mum friend texted me yesterday to tell me she completely backs up what the other said and that I'm horrible for marrying and having a kid with a deadbeat and on top of it to praise him as a good dad. I have no doubts of my feelings. My husband has been and is great with our son and with me. I guess I never thought how my words could be insensitive towards his bio daughter and her mother, whom I've never met. But AA for occasionally saying my husband is a good father when talking to people? Should I stop? Edit. Even though I'm NTA per the votes, I will stop all contact with these women so my comments to them will cease anyway. My husband spoke to one of his friends today and seems like this is a lot bigger, but has not much to do with us. Update. So I spoke with Tim after I posted here. He decided to speak with his friend John about what his wife, Jane, was doing and we will cut Jane off. After Tim spoke to John we learned the truth. Turns out this wasn't about Tim or me at all. I can only say what John authorized me to share. Even when this is anonymous he prefers not to go into details. While still in college John and Jane also had an unplanned pregnancy and he wanted an abortion but she didn't. They were still discussing what to do when she had a miscarriage, early stage. They never told anyone because she didn't want to and John respected her wishes. My husband never knew about this and felt terrible for them. While they moved on and eventually got married and had kids, it's obvious she isn't over it and harbors resentment towards him for his stance at the time. Since our son was born, it seems she has been occasionally unloading her feelings onto Tim because she feels this is how it would have gone for her if she didn't miscarry. This is what John said. I have not spoken to Jane so I don't know her side. John confronted her after Tim spoke to him. They had a big fight because John did not like her actions and immediately saw what was the real reason behind them. He is staying in our guest house for almost 2 weeks now but we hope they will work through it for the sake of their family. He hates us even more now though for hosting him. So we are not really sure how our friendship will fare when they reconcile. The most important part of the update. John contacted bio daughter's mom, Callie, after fighting with Jane. He told her everything and asked her to stop feeding Jane's irrational feelings, because she was taking them out on us instead of him and causing problems for Tim. Callie ended up contacting me on social media. This was an absolute first. We have never interacted in any way before and I did freak out about it when I saw her first message. She was wanting to speak to me mother to mother and clear things out so I responded and we got to chatting, Tim was informed. She said she wanted me to know she didn't want anything more from Tim than what they had agreed on, that she never fed anything to Jane regarding him, they don't even talk that often, and she wanted no part of this mess nor to be dragged into it. I told her that we had a feeling she wasn't involved in the situation and appreciated her telling me, but really, this had nothing to do with her, and I apologized if the drama disturbed her and her daughter. We got to chatting from there on, and she's a lovely person. She is married, and her husband, Sal, has been in their daughter's, Ellie, life since she was about 2. She calls him Dad. They also have a younger daughter together. She knew about Tim being married to me and about us having a son because apparently, James shared those things with her despite her telling her she had no interest in hearing about him. So I updated Tim of my chats with Callie all along. After some reflection and back and forths, we ended up having a video call with the 4 of us, Tim and I, Callie and Sal, just this past weekend. It was awkward at first, but we talked about Ellie mostly. We saw pictures of her, a beautiful girl. The gist of this is Sal and Callie have been wanting him to adopt Ellie officially, but they were honest about how their finances would suffer from losing the child support. Plus the biggest obstacle was they didn't want Ellie to lose her college fund/trust fund from Tim, because they would have a very hard time providing college funds for both their daughters in their current situation, and all the more without the child support. They're not poor nor anything, but they just don't have the means for saving away that much. Long story short, after this call, it was decided that Tim will renounce paternity and Sal will adopt Ellie officially, but Ellie will keep her trust fund college fund. It will be up to them to decide how and what to disclose to Ellie as for where the money comes from, but so far she knows her bio father was doing his half of the financial responsibility, in other words of course, so I don't think they'd lie to her about it. This will take some time to be finalized. We only just started and we still need to consider if and when our children want to meet, which is a difficult topic to tackle, and we agreed to continue discussing it over time, but we are all happy. Tim says this is how it should have been all along, and Callie and Sal seem thrilled about finally being an official family. There was even a very nice moment when Sal told Tim, "You have a lovely family," and Tim replied, "Thanks, so do you."